Under the artistic directorship of David Nixon, Northern Ballet has become one of Britain's finest dance companies. Despite stinging arts cuts, the company's combativeness, artistry, and resolve to continue producing bold, beautiful new ballets was clear from the focus of its rehearsals. Sky Arts joined David Nixon's company and their dancers Martha Liebolt and Ashley Dixon as they completed a tour of the Nutcracker in Manchester, and then prepared to embark on an intense 4-week period of rehearsals on their new production of Beauty and the Beast.
Stand by please, ladies and gentlemen. Alex, stage, flies, follow spot, wigs, and wardrobe. Party children, this is your call. Party children to the stage, please. This is your Act 1 beginner's call. Thank you.
Really starting to think about it now. Obviously we're getting closer, so it's been quite difficult to find the balance. I'd noticed, especially this week, that I'd be doing something on stage and then my mind would start thinking already about Beast, and I'd be like, no, 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 you're on stage, stop thinking about that, you're in the performance of Nutcracker now.
As a dancer, I think you kind of get used to sort of separating ballets into different boxes in your brain, so you can close one and open it for another one and focus on that one during the time that you need to. So I think it's something you get used to.
We've done multiple productions in the same week sometimes, and I think we always put a good show on that first opening night, so it'll come together, it always does.
The pressure to deliver a new piece of work meant the company were rehearsing Beauty and the Beast while still on tour. With little time to rest, the company were due back at their Leeds base at Quarry Hill as soon as the Nutcracker tour had finished. Martha Liebolt, playing Beauty, was born in California. She left the US in 2001, aged 19, to join David Nixon and ballet mistress Yoko Ishino at the company.
We just finished Nutcracker on Saturday night, and it's Tuesday morning, so I haven't had that much time to recover at all, and straight into Beauty and the Beast. I have to completely change my mindset and remember everything that we've been doing before Nutcracker started last week, because there's a lot that was choreographed that I haven't rehearsed for a few weeks, so that's going to be worrying coming in today.
And plie, and close, steady, air, and plie.
Every day until we open Beauty and the Beast on December 17th will be full on, definitely. Really difficult rehearsals. There's no time to kind of ease your way back into it. I have to turn on mentally to pick up steps quickly, to fix them if I'm not able to do them right away.
Well, it was a little bit difficult this season because I'm, shall I say, quite late with a lot of my ideas for choreographing Beauty and the Beast. And I told the company when we first came back that we would have to do it on tour, and they were all fine about that. But choreographing on tour is always very difficult because your space changes every week. And I'm very aware of their workloads, so I'm trying to balance who's rehearsing, who's not, how many hours, and they were unbelievably focused and super because they know they don't have a lot of time. Thank God we're back at base because I'm at a bit of a difficult moment. I've got the difficult stuff to get done in the next, well, I have to finish it in about 7 days.
It's jam, ba-da-da-dum, it's the extended, remember?
Artistic director David Nixon was born in Ontario, Canada. He joined Northern Ballet in 2001 and has brought to their repertoire several new pieces, including A Midsummer Night's Dream and The Three Musketeers, both of which were nominated for Olivier Awards. He was voted Director of the Year by readers of Dance Europe in 2003 and 2006. In January 2010, David was awarded an OBE for his services to dance.
I'm late now, aren't I?
I do this every day, I do this daily, every day.
I think dance is an exceptional art form because it incorporates the possibilities of the human body, but it also uses the mind and it uses the emotions. And there's very few things that incorporate all three of those things simultaneously.
The part of the performance that I love is kind of changing your whole person. And so for those 2 hours, I'll be Beauty. I won't be Martha. And that's what's really exciting about having a story ballet and having it created on you, is that your soul is in it.
To be a dancer, you've got to strive for perfection. You've got to work hard to get it there. And I think that's the challenge that all dancers love. They always like things to be better and they're never satisfied.
It was the first day back, choreographing the whole day, which is difficult. It takes a lot of different kind of concentration than only doing 3 hours and then performing in the evening.
I do this every day, I do this daily, every day I do this. We spent time with Martha at one of her favourite spots, Harewood House, a stunning 18th century house and gardens in the heart of Yorkshire.
In America, as a young girl, you end up going to ballet class at the tap jazz combo classes, and everybody goes. So my parents took me, and I kind of just really fell in love immediately. I didn't really start serious ballet training until I was 11, which is quite old for a girl. The most important thing that I enjoyed was the performing part of it, and I think that's what really sparked the fire in me, was being out on the stage. I think I really enjoyed also the hard work that comes with ballet, and that's what really drew me to it. This was the first stately home, Harewood House, that I came to. So walking around here is a great way for me to unwind and to not think about work, because you can get pretty obsessed if you're working every day on the same thing, and this is a great way of having something different completely, but kind of still in the same arty way that we live in. It's very difficult to turn off from work, especially when we're creating roles and creating ballets. The music's going through your head, the steps are going through your head, everything, every day. To be able to come to a place as beautiful as this and just turn off and look at the artwork and, you know, just walk around in such a calming place, it's really important. David is really wonderful to work with as a dancer because he tends to use your strengths. Already we've done a few pas de deux, which are wonderful, and his pas de deux are always so meaningful to dance because of the way that they are so fluid with the way that the man and the lady dance.
Dancing alongside Martha as the Beast was Ashley Dixon. Born and brought up in Hull, he trained for 3 years with the Central School of Ballet in London before joining Northern Ballet in 2004.
We're in a village just outside of Hull called Hessel. It's actually the village I grew up in, and it's the village where the Humber Bridge is. I spent a lot of time here as a child, so it holds a place in my heart. When I first started dancing, because of my sister, she used to go to dance classes and obviously do the local competitions in the dancing. And I was sat there watching. Obviously at first I was really bored. And then I saw I think there was 1 or 2 boys dancing in the competition, and I watched it, and it made me sit up a bit and sort of think, oh, what are they doing? And watched them, and they looked like they were really enjoying themselves. And I sort of said to my mum, I could do that, that looks easy. And Mum was like, well, why don't you give it a go? So I was like, okay then. It was probably when I was about 13, 14 that I actually decided it was something that I was pursuing more as a career rather than just a hobby. It was taking up more of my time, had to give up playing football. Before I went into ballet and went down to London, I really didn't know much about ballet. We don't get much ballet in Hull. The only companies I'd ever seen were Northern Ballet and Scottish Ballet, and I was quite sheltered in a way from the ballet world.
Ashley's a special boy. I'm always telling him he dances well beyond what he should be dancing. He is so amazing in his work ethic and how he has managed to change his physique, how he manages to, in some ways, do what we talk a lot about is illusion.
To do a character like the Beast, it's got to come from you. The emotion has to come from you. The anger has to come from you. So if someone's at the front saying, do this, and that to you doesn't express your anger or your emotion, then it's not going to come across right.
I felt that with his physical power that he would be able to capture this Beast. And the Beast character, it's hard work. It's a lot of jumping, a lot of physicality, a lot of strong emotion. The emotion, people don't understand. The emotion tires you actually more than the physical work.
Never danced with Martha before. Obviously our heights don't match in a normal ballet sense. I'm a little bit too short to partner Martha. But it's been excellent working with her. She's so helpful. She's got so much experience to offer. I always said that I'd like to dance a soloist or principal role with a large ballet company, and that's now come true. So I've achieved what I wanted to achieve as a child. But now I just feel like I've been so lucky to get where I've got to with Northern Ballet, and I just couldn't be happier really than what I'm doing at the moment.
Finalising the choreography at the Quarry Hill base was only one of the challenges. Next would be the transfer to the Leeds Grand Theatre for the technical rehearsals, the dress rehearsal performance, and of course, the premiere itself.
Even now we're in a tech for another cast, and we're still not going through it. We're still stopping, and the unfortunate thing is I haven't had the time to actually get up on stage and fix some of the problems. Like, there just isn't an extra minute.
I think we need to start with Matthew on the other side of center. Yeah. That gives Giuliano and John enough room, yes? Company, we're going to do it and hopefully without stopping until we get to the transition in the third act. I really feel we need to, even if some of you have some issues, I need to just keep going, because you can sort those issues out on Sunday night in your sleep, like dancers do.
Northern Ballet's latest production of Beauty and the Beast was completed in a few short weeks after their tour of the Nutcracker. The company transferred from its rehearsal space to the Leeds Grand Theatre for the all-important technical run-throughs. With the premiere night fast approaching, these technical rehearsals were an opportunity for lighting directors, production and dancers to familiarise themselves with the space, and for the stage crew to get to grips with the new set.
It's a difficult story. It always has been, it always will be, to put into dance. One of the things I wanted to do was to find a non-expected way of doing it. And that sort of liberated me a little bit in the whole thought of where I could take it. And hence, when I asked Duncan Haler to do the designs, he really doesn't necessarily come from a period. He's coming from a sort of much more of an emotional-led context and, you know, what was I doing with the piece. And I knew his design would be imaginative and unexpected.
The idea behind the production is that we wanted to do a production which wasn't your typical sort of Disney fairy tale in the sort of a kitschy, cliche sense. We wanted to do something a little more modern and not so illustrative, but much more atmospheric. The inspiration for my work really came from David's costumes, because his costumes had to be ready a long time in advance of my work. And his costumes are very modern, haute couture, I would say, geometric. Sometimes I work with that, sometimes I go against it, depending on what the situation is and how it looks as a total image. Here we are in front of one of the original technical drawings that I did for the production. It's a 1:25 scale, and what we're seeing is a front view, an inside view and a side view, if you like, of what we call the heart box. And here's the model of it here. It's mirrored on one side with a keyhole in it. It's got what looks like a sort of butterfly wing shape on the outside, with a framework which can open up. This box then, during the production, opens up, and inside the box we see this rose, and Beauty will be sleeping on one of these petals. It's only one part of the production, but every single piece that we've built, we've tried to build so that it's multi-purpose.
Central to David Nixon's version of Beauty and the Beast was his use of haute couture-style costumes, which saw him dip into a range of different styles and ages, from Amy Winehouse's 50s Beehive to futuristic science fiction.
So the only things we're working on, or the main, obviously finishing stuff off, it's still got goblins to do.
I'm going to have fun with these costumes. Since I'm not labeling myself into an aesthetic, I can do what I want. And I love haute couture, I love designers, and so I looked through some books and got some real inspiration. I also wanted a feeling of it being very sort of even contemporary, moving sort of, 21st century. So I've kind of got that mix going, and so that helped a lot of things. Like, for instance, the prologue scene has just taken on a really kind of, Amy Winehouse 50s retro meets Armani in 2050, and really at the same time, the dancer said it has a feeling of some program on TV about Made in Chelsea or something, where you're getting this. Actually, what I'm trying to get at is this obsession with how one dresses and looks, which is really appropriate for today. Interestingly enough,
I know.
We've changed so much what we think this idea of the aesthetic of both man and woman is. And that really fits well into my whole story, because it's really about the fact that, are we engaged with the outward appearance of people only, or, what is inside?
This comes from the classic empire, which is in some ways Greek. It originates and then it gets played again during the Regency period. It's also a little bit of a Renaissance look as well. It's a very nice skirt for dance because you get a lot of motion in it, and so it really enhances lifts and leg moves. This is actually much more sort of a little bit spacey in a certain sense because of the lines that are used in there and this metallic fabric again. And yet, if you take that away, you've almost got medieval jerkin for a man. What I love is what just, for instance, a change in fabric does to a costume. The thing I'm really actually proud about, well, actually, I love all the costumes. I think Julie and Kim and the girls have done an amazing job, but creating a beast that is somehow going to make the audience believe that he is sort of an animal and he isn't human anymore, and yet still seeing the movement in the body and still understanding that he is a man. This is enhanced so that when it's put on the dancer, they'll look more, the muscles are enlarged, and you get this kind of focused kind of trunk look that an animal has.
It has inspired how I can take the story in a different way. Whereas if I went purely from the choreography, I wouldn't have found that key. The key has sort of come, oddly enough, which is not normal for me, from the design element of the production.
There's always both excitement and anxiety because we're not ready yet. We're not finished. So that's something that is always in the back of your mind. But as soon as we finish and we feel comfortable in the studio, then it's just going to be excitement to open it up and see what the public think.
Delays in getting the set finished meant that some of the team had been working non-stop for over 48 hours, so the company only managed their first full run-through during the dress rehearsal performance.
Yesterday was supposed to be our final dress rehearsal with our opening night cast, and usually by that point you have completely teched every act at least once, and then you bring it all together with the orchestra, and it should run as close to a show as possible. Last night, the only thing, well, we hadn't actually run anything, and we hadn't even seen Act 2 at all, so it was really not the norm.
So let's go to the opening positions, please. Dancers, quickly, please. You're on stage.
The last couple days have been very challenging from all aspects, especially because from the technical side, the set is humongous. So we've had to put that all on the stage and have room for us to dance as well. And it's very involved, the set. There's a lot of changes. So that's taken up a lot of the time where we might have normally been able to practice a few more pirouettes or a couple more promenades.
Are you all right? Do you have enough space?
Yeah, I think, Martha, you can take it a little bit more upstage for yourself so you're not so... That's it. I find it quite challenging to get through these because it feels you've worked very hard to try to go to a point, and then all of a sudden you're not sure you can even get to that point, and it's, you know, you're just trying to get it together rather than to evolve it. And that as an artist is quite challenging. All right, and go on. Coming down. We don't have anything after this, do we? We're fine. We're just where we are. Sometimes I'm looking at, I have 7 minutes. In 7 minutes, I could achieve what I wanted if everybody is on the ball in the minute. The minute somebody thinks that there's 10 minutes, I can't do it.
I'm excited to get the first one on and out there. It'll be really exciting tonight if everything works technically, so we can just have a real smooth show.
I think more than anywhere in the arts, we understand that when the show's opening tonight, it has to open tonight. There's no question whether it will or not.
This has got to be the highlight of my career, to have a principal character created on you. It's a big achievement for me.
The last few moments before the music starts, I just try and be very calm and remember why I love to dance, and it's performing. So getting ready for beauty will be getting ready for anything. It's when that music starts is where you know where you are. And you know, when you're getting ready for the show as well, a lot of the preparation goes into the rituals that you do at your dressing room place or warming up. You know, you have a different routine for warming up for beauty as you would for Cleopatra. So all of those go into it, but as soon as you step on stage, you know what you need to do and you're ready to perform.
Feels like the best premiere ever, obviously Dancing the Beast tonight, so for me it's the best premiere I've ever had, so really enjoyed it.
Every show, really, it's hard to imagine, but you can gain something and you can enjoy it in a different way.
You get into a situation where you're really up against the wall and you can see a date approaching and you really don't know how it's going to happen. And instead of everybody whinging and crying and moaning at somebody, they didn't. They all did everything they could to make tonight happen.
After the hard work and dedication, the company pulled off a triumphant first night. And after their success in Leeds, they set off on a long tour of the UK, including Edinburgh, Sheffield, Hull, Canterbury, Milton Keynes and Cardiff.
Very well done. Really, thank you all. Thank you to the crew.